Okay, we are live. Good evening, everyone. This is Ping, host of the Ping Talk series. Super excited today to have my first lady speaker today on my show. And
Hello.
hello. And by the way, she's my ex-boss. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Ping Talk series is actually conducted every Wednesday 8 p.m. And the purpose for my show is really about connecting businesses and also connecting people. So I am in the trade of customized size mattresses and bed frames. And if you'd like to know more, just check out my website in the description. So welcome, Serena. Happy to see you again.
Likewise, it's been a while. I missed you around.
Yeah. Are you in Singapore right now?
Yes, I am with the rain,
Uh,
like just like you.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so Serena. Okay, before I let you hand over to you to talk more about your trade and what you do. Let me just formally introduce you. Okay. So back in this 2017, ACT founder Serena has earned a reputation as a stellar event manager, traveling the world working for companies from all sectors to deliver the top quality experience. She noticed a real need for crafting exceptional events that prioritize environmental sustainability. Applauded by the amount of waste and the poor social impacts of events, Serena knew that there was a better way. And before long, she was supporting eco businesses in developing sustainable events that left a positive impact on the environment. Okay. And I was part of it as well, a small portion of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
A great
however,
portion of it.
yeah. So, however, eco business struggled with marketing and strategy, and their message was often not being heard. Most marketing agencies fell short in comprehending their motivations, connecting with their target audience, and integrating sustainability into their messages and approach. So, Serena, drawing on her passion for sustainability and her personal experience dealing with the same issues, she dove into the opportunity to craft marketing roadmaps and communication plans that resonate with a few trusted clients. And I believe that was a success thing, right? That happens.
Well,
So
I'm still here.
ACT, yes. So ACT now actually experience rapid growth, and I'm quite sure with Serena's experience on that. Okay, and this company and ACT Sustainable Events Management Company has now transformed into a comprehensive marketing agency with a female powerhouse team based in Japan, Thailand, Brazil, and Portugal. Together, the team connects like-minded businesses in the sustainable sector and is able to work across cultural and language barriers. Wow, Serena, that sounds like you are doing really, really great things coming ahead.
You make me sound like it, so thank you for that.
Yes. Okay, so very, very happy to have you today. So, okay, I know that you are doing really much on these marketing agencies and you are a very, very a sustainable advocate. And okay, maybe the first question that I will ask you is that like being a sustainable advocate, and of course doing your marketing agencies, maybe can you share a little bit more about like how do you actually really incorporate eco-friendly practices into your daily lives?
Ooh, okay. Daily life, it's a little bit of a blur for me because I've been doing it pretty much since I was little. I think, especially since we now are completely remote as a company. So all of the people that you mentioned before, they're not commuting to work every day. It would be rather impossible. But one of the first thing we do is we obviously trying to be mindful of who is working with, and also trying to figure out a little bit better of what do we truly need in terms of agency. I know that marketing a lot of the time is been seen with swags and funny items that they truly go to the trash, as you know. We worked together on that many times before. So I think
Mm.
incorporating it onto the daily life for us, it's more just like being mindful of what we have, what we consume, where do we go, um, and then we kind of transform that into anything we touch from home to work is kind of the same thing, right? So we kind of carrying it with us. But yeah, for sure, there is no plastic hanging around my desk. I can promise you that. I'm looking around, there's none of it. I had a reusable coffee cup for probably good 6 years. I think it might be due a change soon. Just the little practices that whoever is
Mm.
into the line of trying to be a little bit more mindful would do. And then you just bring them with you, right? Wherever you go. But for sure, we do bring that into work as well, or actually don't, because we just do it comfortably from home, right?
Yeah, working from home. Okay, yeah, that's great. So yeah, I mean, so talk more about I mean, I know that you are working very hard. I mean, you got your new website for ACT coming, I mean, up and really going. And yeah, tell me more about what ACT is really about. And why should people really look into bringing sustainability into the messages towards their consumers or customers kind of stuff. Yeah.
Sure. So as you know, I started more as a events on a background, and then not wanting to be the traditional management company, mostly because it didn't really align with my ethical principle. I've moved away and stepped away from just doing something that is pretty and fun, but it has a little bit more of a meaning attached to it. And then with the years, that grew into be something a little bit more comprehensive, as when you do something that is good, you also need to make sure that when you communicate it in a ethical way and in a true way. So when you do it, you need to also walk your talks. Otherwise, you won't be credible anymore. And I think what happened with ACT, which was Event ACT before, is just like it became an extension of what we were already doing, which was trying to infuse the principle of sustainability and trying to really bring education to the wider audience and attendees through crafting interesting stories, to craft a little bit more of a moving argument towards why we should be acting in a certain way rather than another. And what we do now at ACT, or Activate Conscious Thinking for a very long extended name, is that we work with either companies that they do work within the sustainability spectrum, and we just
Mm.
help them simplify and really come across to the right people, having something to tell more than just a structural product. So just to be more fun and lighthearted and create a little bit more of a engagement. Or
Mm.
we also work with companies that they might have something that they want to talk about, and they're either too shy because they don't want to be seen as greenwashers, which is a great sentiment. Better doing more and saying less.
Yeah.
But also it's some that they really just need a little hand of understanding how to navigate that complexity of what to say, when to say, to who you want to say it, and so on. So it's just really, especially now, since sustainability is increasingly becoming a very, very hot topic, compared to when I started years ago, where people thought I was just, they could not understand what that was about. I think
That's
more
referring
companies.
to in Asia, right? I believe
Oh,
so, right?
yes. I would never forget, and that's as you said. Like I was the one facing the first struggle of wanting to do something good, and people just wouldn't understand what that was, right? So now I use whatever pain point I went through to help others that they are either trying to communicate a certain aspect of their companies, or they're really trying to showcase what they're doing in a very effective, clear manner. Because it's not
Mm.
always that easy, right? So that's effectively where we stand.
Yeah. So when you're talking about working with companies that are already in the area of sustainability wise, but so how about those companies that are not? Do you work with them as well? I mean, in certain ways to help them to move towards the direction.
I think it depends what their commitment is for. Again,
Mm.
we're quite cautious to work with companies that they want to say without doing. So we're always having a little bit of screening. But of course, the doors are open to whoever it really is put in their heart where it matters. And so
Mm.
we do actually work with a lot of companies that instead of going all in, or perhaps the product or service are not strictly related within the sustainability ecosystem, they still have something that they are doing. For example, there's a lot of companies that they have CSR activities, and they wouldn't necessarily know how to talk to through those, or they
Mm,
just do sustainability reporting at the end of the year, and they just want to have like a summary of this really heavy, sometimes very boring report, right? So they would want to say, okay, we want to say and put some excitement in our team or in our employees, and show them, what their time went, what their commitment went, and bring it out in a fun way that it's also easy to understand and to remember. So yeah, we would work with them in perhaps more dedicated campaign rather than in a holistic marketing strategy, because obviously they might have something different in hand. But for sure, it really goes case by case. In most cases, they would come to us when they have something that they really are unsure on how to talk about and how to display it and how to make it fun. And that's when we say, okay, let's do this together. So that's usually when people that they are not in the sector will most likely
mm.
approach us.
Okay, okay. Cool. Sounds like fun. I mean, yeah, I mean, marketing strategy should not be too boring, wise. So to have sustainability and some fun message to bring across to people is definitely something that I think, well, I mean, will be quite interesting and effective to companies. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
earlier on, you were talking about like a little bit of, I mean, in fact, I mean, I heard about people talking about greenwashing as well. I mean, you mentioned that earlier on as well. So what's your thoughts about like this greenwashing thing? At this point of time, with all the sustainability, work that is done by many people, kind of stuff. I mean, what's your thoughts about that on
I
on
think
your,
it
on
was
your
it was definitely about time that we have a little bit more of regulation about how we portray a message, because the last thing we want is to actually kind of get consumers, because most of the greenwashing is usually done towards the consumer perspective. And what
Mm,
happened here is that companies would portray a feel good message without backing up with enough information, or perhaps only pointing the message to a specific part of the product or service without actually giving the entire information. So I think when the greenwashing really became an argument to be put on the table. I mean, it was on COP last year, right? So I feel
mm,
like it finally became an argument, because we also need to be mindful of what we say and how we say it, because we cannot try to win the consumer trust for then just losing it overnight for something that we say in a shady way, if you like, or in a way that is not completely 100% true. And so, although obviously it will make our life as communicators a little bit more complicated, I also
mm,
think that it's good to have some guidelines. It's good to have some reference points so that we can all work together. Every industry has them, and I think it was just about time that we had ours. And also, it would help cutting through the noise and help consumers to make decisions that are actually informed, rather than having them with information that it's only halfway through, just to give them that good, like a feeling good sensation that it won't actually do anything in the end. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely brings some challenges, but I love those, so we'll be fine. We'll get through them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess every industry will definitely have some challenges with regards to the work that they do. Yeah. But I think that I mean, I worked with you before, so I'm quite sure that like yeah, what you do is going to be like trusted by many. Yeah.
Hopefully, thank you for the trust. But yeah, well, we always say that sometimes the road that we're going to take is not the easiest, and
Mm,
transparency is what I always want to pride myself and whoever I work with as well. And I would rather say that something may not go as expected rather than covering it up. And I feel that sometimes it's not always the easiest choice to make. and not everyone has the guts to make it, or maybe there's so many political layers that we cannot control. So eventually we'll all get adjusted to these new rules, but they needed to be there, honestly. So only the fittest will survive.
And I'm quite sure that you are one of them. Okay, so Serena, why not you share a little bit more also on like maybe a favorite success story, that you have done previously, or some impactful moments from your sustainable, advocacy journey that you have done. I mean, you have been doing this for a long while, so maybe you'd like to share a successful story, or maybe a favorite moment lah, that I think that like
Mm.
will motivate someone or motivate people, yeah, to really think about it seriously, and moving towards this direction. Yeah.
So my maybe most touching story, it's not a new one. We're talking back at quite at the beginning of the journey. So that was what, 2018,
Mhm.
and we were working with a company to host a sports conference. And you know how much I dislike having swags and presents and things that most people would not take with them.
Mm.
However, there was a little bit of miscommunication, and we ended up with a surplus of over 300 backpacks, 300 notepads,
Oh,
and
okay.
600 pens. So that's a lot of extras to deal with. And as I was trying to break my head and figure out what to do with all of this extra, because the client itself didn't really have storage where we were hosting, and that definitely didn't have enough luggage space to bring it back with them. For as much as I wanted to take it back in storage, it was all branded and labeled. It's not something I could really reuse for anything else. Until, and this is what I always say, the power of community, like exactly what you're doing here, it's
Mm.
something that in the into the ecospace, into people that they actually live a more mindful lifestyle, it's always coming to life. So what happened is, as I was having coffee and talking with one of the exhibitors, that they are from the Philippines, I was like,
Mm.
oh, tonight I have to pack all of these bags, and I'm not too sure what to do with them. It's breaking my heart. She looks at me and she goes like, will you ship them? And I'm like, depending where they're going. And she literally leaves the room, goes away, comes back half an hour later and goes, how about we ship them to an orphanage in the Philippines? I have a phone contact, which is my daughter, that she works there. And so there I go. And I basically packed everything, shipped them, and we basically sent everything to this orphanage that it was just about to begin to send children to school. It was just before the new term. And so the
Mm.
joy of them, we just received like a whole bunch of pictures of these kids like being really happy with the new, brand new backpacks and whatnot, which for us, it was just going to be one of those items that we would have to sit on it forever. And it didn't really either cost much or take much. Even the shipping always, obviously was done in the most eco way as possible. So it went by sea, which it took the time that it took, but it
Mm.
finally reached destination on time for the kids to get to school. And it was just like one of those moments when you see collaboration between people that they have the same common goal. And then you see how really something that you would have called trash actually made an impact into someone else's life and into another organization, because we basically relieved that orphanage to try and go and search for new school materials and backpacks and pens and notebooks and whatnot. So we relieved them from that burden of searching and looking for more money to buy those when we were sitting on them. And all of that was done in such a really breezy way, that it's
Mm.
one of those moments where I'm like, I wish that every single piece of the puzzle would always go as nicely fitting, so fast at least. And I just remember the photos that we've got. They were just like, wow, I can't believe that what I was about to pretty much put in a storage and get dusted actually brought so much happiness into someone else's life. So I think that was definitely one of my most touching moments, I think, because I hardly get to see the end results. I would hear about it, but I don't always get to see them. So I feel that that kind of left an impact. And with that story, what we did, we actually obviously communicated that to the client, given that it was their own material. But we
Mm.
also communicated with all the attendees that they choose not to take their gifts with them.
Oh,
And it
okay. That's
became yeah, it actually became a piece of education because we said we prepared this for you, and just so you know, something that you didn't appreciate ended up going here, which maybe that's what we should have done all along, but we just wanted to say, be thinking twice about what you say and don't say, because there was a survey on gifts at the end of conference, right? So I think it just became also a piece of sharing and knowledge and reflection time for all of the people that attended. So it was really like an incredibly well put together initiative that just came out of nowhere.
yeah. Okay. That's very nice to hear. I mean, in fact, I mean, for the message to go to the attendees wise to let them know about this, I'm quite sure that the message, the impact to them, rethinking about this whole thing about sustainabilities and also reducing waste is really yeah, very impactful in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it impacted way more than just then, the orphanage and the children. It actually impacted even the people that they didn't even know of the
Mm.
consequences of their action. And that's why it's always one of those stories that I'm like, we basically domino effect that one little action caused so much, not change in a way. Yes, there is change, but it's more the education and the thought process of understanding better. That was quite a
Yeah.
strong one, I feel.
I think it just remind me like when I was working with you, doing some events kind of stuff, the way, the approach, the thoughts that you have, the way of trying to reduce the waste and having the ways to be able to or any leftovers that is, from the event wise is able to stream to other organizations that may be in need for those items is yeah, it really makes me feel that like really a meaningful time that I had, with you. And it really gives me a lot of motivations in the aspects of sustainability kind of stuff. That's the reason why I love working with you during my
Aw.
time. Yeah.
Don't make me emotional. I'm already the first lady on the show. I can also be taking all this credit. But no, I'm glad that led something, because that's,
Yeah.
when people say, oh, a lot of a lot of us are now talking about sustainability and doing good and messaging and whatnot. This is what
Mm,
truly means. It means letting have a person on the other side with something, whether is you are trying to fight climate change, whether it's you trying to help your neighbor next door. I feel it's just about how you craft the story and how you impact in a way. And that's where I think that marketing and communication, more in a specific terms, it can become a very tricky subject when it's attached to these topics, because it gets very personal at times, or it gets very tricky to be able to say it in an impactful way without stepping on anyone else's toes. So that's
yeah.
definitely one of the challenges.
Yeah, that's why I through the experience that I have with you, that actually really allows me to think about like sometimes certain things, I mean, do it's within the means of each other. I mean, it's like you don't have to do if you don't have to do big things, start from baby steps, in
Of
making
course.
some small little changes in life, making some small better decision and moving forward. I guess that would really be helpful, and then results will definitely comes later on. Yeah.
They usually do. If you're consistent in what you do and you keep on going, eventually you do see the results for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Serena, do you like to share more about what is the kind of like projects moving forward? What ACT is going to be looking forward to. What are the upcoming projects kind of stuff, and then and also probably like why people should consider ACT as part of their marketing partner for their companies or projects.
Sure. So starting with where we will be at this year, so I think as I was chit-chatting with you offline, we do have a whole lineup of online and in-person events where I will be just sharing a bit more of what we do, how to approach sustainability within the events industry, and how to embed it into your communications, whether you are a eco business or you're just doing certain campaigns. So we do have a few appointments in Singapore. So we will be working with the Singapore Technology University. So that's going to be one. We're doing a couple of online webinars as well. If there's people interested in learning a bit more about implementing sustainability habits in comms and events. And that you will be finding them on our LinkedIn page, on our Instagram page, and soon enough on our website as well. Or you can always say hello. I love connecting with different people. I think one thing that I'm quite excited about at the moment, we are running a contest which is called Acts of Kindness, which is related to all small to medium businesses that they are working into the eco space and they're doing something awesome. So the
Okay.
contest, it's really just an opportunity for them to reach out to us, tell us what they're doing, send us a quick video, send us a little blurb, and we basically pushing them all out onto our socials and we will promote them. And just because we want to show how much we actually care, we are creating a little contest, and the one that gets the most likes of all will get free service from us for a little while. So just sending it out there. If you're out there listening and you do feel that you want to try it out and want to see how you can change your comms or your marketing, again, on the website, on the LinkedIn page and Insta, you'll find more info, and I'll be very happy just to chat with you directly because you never know what we're into. And that is going to run until the end of February. So we're having 1 month of contests to go, which is keeping us
Okay.
pretty
Okay.
busy.
That's
And
cool.
then
That's
we are running a project. Well, this is an international project. So as you know, I am a little bit of a traveler myself. And while I was in Vietnam at the end of last year, I got together with another 7 digital nomads that they are into the eco space, and we all trying to find to create a platform where all people that they are on the go, whether it's business professional that they travel a lot for work, people that take a lot of holidays, good for you, tell me how you do it, or people like me that they just work and travel, to how they can keep on with their sustainable life even when they're on the go. And we're also trying to work with local hosts and communities to help them promote the circular economy that they already have ongoing. So that's one of the projects that I hope to see coming up to life that I can share with you. There are a couple more that I cannot really talk about because they haven't been launched. But
okay.
one is into
But
the
sounds like a lot of interesting things coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one into the water conservation space that will be quite interesting, but it's just on the other side of the world. So we're talking
Not in
towards
Singapore.
South America.
Okay.
No, it's more towards South America.
Uh,
And then I will
yeah, all
be
over the
in Europe.
place.
I am all over the place, as you know.
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
a good thing.
likely I'm not alone. Likely I'm not alone, but that's something else. And then there will be some more conversations with some peers in the UK on ethical communications. So that will be more into the educational space again. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on where I'll be next and what's coming up.
Sure, sure. We should catch up again. You know, for coffee.
Before I run away, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. So I guess for whoever that's out there, or you know, just Serena is really expert in sustainability marketing aspects. She has done a lot. You know, a lot of vast experience. So I think anybody who is in the area of doing sustainability, or not quite in sustainability but looking at their aspects, should really reach out to Serena, to talk to her, understand more on how she can actually help your company, to really elevate, or even bring amplify your sustainability messages out to your consumers in a much more effective way. So at the end of the session wise, I would share Serena's contact number, her website, and the various Instagram or LinkedIn page, and of course the act of kindness contest that is ending end February. So it's still up, for the contest
You
wise.
still
If you
got
are
time.
keen, yeah, please, reach out to her or just participate in the contest wise. So yes, just want to say thank you again to Serena for being on my show. Really very honored, to have
Oh,
you
no.
here.
The honor is all mine. Being there, as you call me, the first lady on the show, that made me laugh. So thank you so much for choosing me.
No
And
problem,
then,
no
as always,
problem.
it's a pleasure to be in a community with you.
Yeah, okay, sure. So you have any other last thing that you'd like to do a shout out to the rest before I end the session?
Um, Not really. Just get up there. Don't be too worried to try new things. And if you are, just come and talk to me. I'll be very happy just to encourage you and give you the little green push you need.
Okay, great, 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 great. So thank you, Serena, and thank you whoever that is here. And a good night to everybody. And I will talk to you guys again next week with my new speaker. And ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.